and they're making sure they can kind of preserve maybe...
Get him up to that 95 to 100% range.
Yeah, I mean, preserve, more of a future with them instead of, you're not going to risk them.
Right. No, you're right. I completely agree that the stupid thing would be to risk his short-term health for short-term gain.
So I was even, they were in talking too, like if he does come back, it might not even be until about, say, mid-October.
Yeah, it could be mid-October. I just got an update on the phone. This is the headline. Ezekiel Elliott's 6-game suspension reportedly upheld, but he can play week 1.
So that means it's until we find out more, they'll just, like say it breaks at like week 9, we just keep him out the rest of the season. Is that what that means, or?
The article is saying, here's the twist. According to the Dallas Morning News, Kate Hayropoulos and NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, Elliott will be eligible to play Week 1 when when the Cowboys host the Giants. That's because Henderson issued his ruling too late on Tuesday.
Okay.
All right.
Play.
Yeah.
If you hit the fantasy, then you lucked out. There you go.
Yeah,
You start studies ready for week 1. You didn't miss out on that. So.
And then that means really there's more time for this lawsuit and temporary restraining order, etc.
Yeah.
To go through.
Now I'm really curious to see what happens with this. Is it?
I mean, could you imagine if he's so pissed off that he runs for 300 yards?
I would.
And catches for 160 and just gets 6 touchdowns on that Giants defense. It is not going to happen. But that, I bet he's that pissed off that he wants to do that.
It'll definitely elevate his game, I think.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next thing. The Jets traded Sheldon Richardson to the Seahawks for Jermaine Kearse and a second-round draft pick. Do you think that was a good trade for the Jets? Good trade for the Seahawks? Good for both? Bad for both? What are your thoughts?
Well, it should be... I'm not really up to date on either or, but it should be interesting how it irons out. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's bad for the Jets, it's good for the Jets, and it's good for...
I don't think there's really much good for the Jets.
Well, I'll explain why it's both good and bad for the Jets. It's good for the Seahawks. The reason I think it's bad for the Jets is because you're getting rid of an immensely talented player in exchange for a wide receiver 2, probably a wide receiver 3, and a second-round pick. All right, that's why it's bad. Why it's good? He's toxic. He's not a good fit in the locker room. He completely bought in to the sellout mentality last season. He was someone who was vocally... I'm trying to think of the best word. He was vocally...
what did I say?
A jerk.
Okay, yeah.
He was volatile.
Yeah.
And now the Jets get that out of their locker room to bring in someone who's known as a team player. So that's why it's good for the Jets. And it's really good for the Seahawks because what's one thing that shuts people like him up? Winning.
Right.
What do they do in Seattle? They win.
For the most part, yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're getting an immensely good player. They have a winning culture. He's going to be happy.
He'll heal right up, yeah.
I think so. So I think for the Seahawks, it's a really good move. But that, of course, remains to be seen, as there are players in the Seahawks locker room who, even though they do win, are vocal toilets.
Richard Sherman,
Michael Bennett. But they're guys that just like to stir the pot. Different reasons. Richard Sherman just mostly being douchey.
Ego, yeah.
Yeah, an ego thing. Michael Bennett standing up for something he believes in, but saying the wrong words at the wrong time, saying the wrong thing to express the right mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, being a jerk about something good.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see how he fits into that culture. If it's the type where you see like a Doug Baldwin or Russell Wilson where it's really good for them, or if it's like Richard Sherman or Michael Bennett where he's going to be free to just spew his
garbage,
vitriol at will.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing that I want to bring up is Hurricane Irma is going to be forcing the Buccaneers and Dolphins game to either be postponed or moved up or moved to a different city. We don't know what's going to happen.
A different city. It's just, that seems to be more the common way to do it.
I would hope so, because the alternatives are play it on Friday night or even Thursday night, which I think...
Move it to like Thursday Night Football and
yeah,
swap the game out? Or
stagger started a little bit earlier.
with the
and
Pats
then,
and the
yeah.
Chiefs? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one option. I remember even like a couple of years ago they did when they had the snowstorm in New York, they moved the Buffalo game to Detroit on a Monday night. That was they did kind of like how you suggested. They did I believe it was like a 7 o'clock start for the Bills game, and then it was maybe did they move Monday night a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's plenty of ways they could do it. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they won't be home for that first game, but yeah, you make do with what you can.
The other option is the absolute wrong option. Both teams happen to have their bye week the same week, week 11, November 19th.
Right.
The other option is to just play it then, which could work out.
Yeah.
Problem is, the Buccaneers and the Dolphins bye week would be week 1, and then they play 16 straight games.
Yeah, and that's
not good.
no. I mean,
There goes so much for player safety.
yeah. I think I don't know if I remember like back when it was the Seahawks were in the AFC.
That's quite a while ago.
Yeah, but there are teams that didn't. I'm pretty sure traditionally every team plays kickoff weekend, right? Week 1 is everybody has to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were never any bye weeks on week
Bye
1.
weeks don't start till week 5.
Right. Yeah, so there's it's definitely that can't happen at all.
I wouldn't mind there being a bye week in week 1 if there was a second bye week. I don't like teams playing 16 weeks in a row.
Hopefully, if they ever do expand the league and the number of games played in a season, you might even see that. So,
Personally, I would rather see 2 preseason games, add 1 more regular season game, and then add 1 bye week. 17 regular season games, 2 bye weeks for a 19-week season.
even 20.
Well, I don't want to... 16 weeks is a lot. And you're already concerned, like I'm talking about like from the player's perspective. I know they get paid a ton of money, but they put their body in harm's way. They really do. Like, there is not a player on any team that does not sustain an injury throughout the season.
Right.
Whether it's a minor one like a broken finger, which happens.
Right.
Players play with broken fingers, players play with broken toes, players lose teeth. You know, it happens. An injury happens every season to every player. The severity is different. I would rather not put these people in harm's way even more than they already are by adding on 2 more weeks to the season of them playing. One, I think, makes sense. And the other week that should be added on is a bye week.
Yeah, that's one way you could do it, I guess, yeah.
Then that opens up the possibility for expansion of playoffs if you want to go that route and add 2 more teams to each
14
conference.
14 instead of 12? Or no?
16 instead of 12.
Right.
Yeah, because you have 8 and 8.
2 and 8. Yeah.
Which would be half the league makes the playoffs, half the league does not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that you could do.
Yeah, a little bit more wild card for you too.
But
just I mean that's
I think
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about player safety than the NFL is. And I'm the type of person who also has the mindset of just shut the hell up and entertain me.
Right.
So if I'm more
Seesaws
concerned,
either way. Yeah.
if I'm more concerned about player safety than the NFL is, that's a problem.
It's scary, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely discussion even more for another time, but
We definitely will. Now that the NFL season is here. All right, are you ready to talk about college football now?
we're going to touch on week 1 predictions for NFL, or is that?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
Well, at the end of this, we're going to get through all of our predictions.
All right.
All right. So, college football is awesome. Awesome. We saw some awesome games
Ton of them.
on Saturday. The Maryland-Texas game, really good. That West Virginia Tech game, so good. So good. Easily will finish the season as a top 5 game.
Kept you engaged the whole way through.
Right now, it's the best game of the week. All right. So what I want to do is talk about who impressed the most. It can be a player, it can be a team, and then who disappointed the most, and then what I called who won the week. Winning the week, it could be a team like I don't even want to give any spoilers, so I'll pick a team that I didn't use as mine. Let's say you think Maryland won the week because they beat a top 25 team. They haven't beat a top 25 team in many years.
Right.
Okay. Or you can think maybe a player won the week. For example, what's his name from Tennessee last night?
John Kelly.
Yeah, no, the wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Callaway?
Yeah.
Yep. Or maybe a unit won the week. That very, very, very impressive defensive line for the Michigan Wolverines, who caused the fumble in the end zone that secured the victory over the Florida Gators.
Right.
So it could even be the conference. I didn't look at it that way, but maybe you can say that you think the SEC won the week because they were 3-0 against the ACC.
Right. Yeah.
So
different kinds of scenarios you could choose. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start with who impressed the most. Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
You go ahead.
All right. I've got 2. The first one that impressed me the most, West Virginia. I thought that there's no way that they would be able to keep up with Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has a great offense. The ACC plays stellar defense. And West Virginia comes from the Big 12. The Big 12, they don't play defense. Defense isn't a thing in the Big 12.
Right.
All right. I thought West Virginia was going to get absolutely crushed. They did not. In fact, they turned in a performance for the ages in and I'm not even exaggerating, this game was that damn good. All right. Damn good. All right. Virginia Tech, like I said, their offense, stellar. Their defense, very good. West Virginia has a great offense. Their defense, not good. I thought Virginia Tech was going to carve them up. Did not happen. And West Virginia impressed me the most. The second team that I had that impressed me the most was UCLA. UCLA was down by 34 points in the third quarter and won.
Yeah, to bounce back.
Again, against an SEC defense in Texas A&M.
I was actually a little bit disappointed in that game. I had seen the score early on. I kind of wrote it off.
I wasn't watching it because the West Virginia Tech game was on,
That's
and
just it.
I couldn't pull myself away. I found myself cheering for both teams.
Yeah, you definitely got wrapped into that.